Have you heard of an amazing free-to-play MMORPG PvP for your phone?
It's a mobile game called Raid Shadow Legends.
Have you heard of Raid Shadow Legends, Raid Shadow 3 on iOS and Android.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Because this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. You know what Raid is, alright? It's everywhere.
With Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends.
Get ready to raid.
You've probably heard it countless times before, on seemingly every YouTube channel out there. And if you're anything like me, you skip ahead to where the video you actually want to watch starts. But what if you didn't? Have you ever seen one of these mobile game ads and wondered if it was actually worth your time? After all, clearly the endless marketing budget is making a profit somehow. Someone is clicking these ads and playing these games. Are they just weak-willed and overly susceptible to advertising? If I told them I had a link in the description to download Raid for free, joining more than 78 million players, would they mindlessly click it, directly supporting me and the channel? Perhaps they know something we don't. Or maybe it really is just another generic mobile game, with copy-paste systems, extreme monetization, and uninspired gameplay. Today we find out why you should or should not play Raid Shadow Legends. First off, full disclosure, there is in fact a link in the description, and clicking it, downloading the game, and playing through the tutorial will support me. However, this video is not sponsored. I'm under no obligation to say or present anything, or to even make this video in the first place. If I think Raid is a big stinky poo-poo game, I can and will say that without hesitation. Of course, being a review, I will do my best to provide an unbiased but critical look at the game. Hopefully that will also keep the rabid devoted fanboys that I assume must exist from committing arson at my address as well. Secondly, this review is limited in scope. I'm just a small hobbyist creator, and there are only so many hours I can and, maybe more importantly, am willing to put into a game for the sake of a review. I will mainly be covering this as a first impressions review of the new player experience, as I cannot in good faith make comments on any of the in-game aspects. Now, let's get into playing this so you don't have to.
Well shot! Where did you learn that?
Hunting orcs.
The Arbiter cannot bar me forever, Elf. You and I will have our day. Let's keep moving.
Four of them! Come on! Which of you filth
Okay,
dies first today?
off the bat we're actually off to a pretty good start.
We really don't have time.
The game is pretty, voice acted, the characters have personality. So far so good. Alright, so this first bit seems very directed. You're not really playing the game yet. It's a glorified cutscene, I'd say, almost. There's no exploration or information given. You can't even access an options or a settings menu at this point. And I assumed I had to click to move on to the next piece of dialogue. You know, considering this whole big next button in the top right corner.
We attack together.
But apparently
On
not,
three.
considering I've just skipped a piece of dialogue.
Arbiter.
You've chosen your first champion, but one champion is not an army. Use a mystery shard to summon another champion at the portal.
So far it seems to be an extremely on-rails tutorial. Can literally do nothing except click exactly where it tells me. Still no way to go into settings to change it to full screen or change the volume or anything.
11 generations of peace had reigned between the kingdom of Karok and the realm of Aravia. A peace now shattered by King Teba's brutal campaign of expansion into the neutral lands between the two kingdoms.
There is a story here. Bit of lore, nothing incredible so far, but a good enough base. Taxes? Oh no, I'm not brave enough for politics.
And ruin upon his own people.
Still, very acceptable voice acting so far at least.
Had the king lost all reason? On the orders of the Arbiter, the company set out to persuade him to renounce his folly and wayward policies.
A lot of fantasy jargon here. Bannerlords, Arbiter. I don't know what these mean, but seems fun.
Even if it meant storming the very gates of Kirok Castle.
Alright, so now we're starting to get into the combat mechanics. Nice.
Strong against another affinity. Magic beats spirit.
So we've got Pokemon style type advantages. Reminds me a lot of Fate Grand Order. Another gacha turn-based mobile game. A lot of combat systems being thrown at me at once, but I'm not completely overwhelmed just yet. Oh wow, I can finally click on things. And oh no, there's an auto button. It's not a good sign when you don't even need to play the game. And we're back to the Osu tutorial. All the cool intro animations and voice lines are totally gone for the actual gameplay. Generic 3-round turn-based combat. Still can't go full screen or do literally anything but click this circle.
Congratulations, you leveled up. Every time you level up, you'll get full energy, gems, and sometimes you'll even unlock new features.
Energy? What could that be? An arbitrary limit on how much I'm allowed to play the game, like a parental time lock that I'll have to pay in the shop to bypass? Oh boy. Lost Ark Coning flashbacks here. Spending resources for a chance to upgrade items. A glorified slot machine. Lovely.
You have learned well. Keep strengthening your warriors. I shall return in time to teach you more.
And finally I can go into settings. Change my volume, graphics, go full screen. Only had to do the entire tutorial first. Man, so many red dots to click on. Where do I even start? Ooh, free stuff. I must have accomplished some truly amazing feats to earn these cool items. I also have no idea what this beer is for, but I never turned down a free drink. And they're already selling me stuff. I don't even know what most of this stuff is for. These shards are for summoning, I believe, which is a gacha system, also legally known as gambling in many countries. And another pop-up to get me into the shop. At least this is more free stuff that I definitely earned. What any of it does, who knows or cares. It's free. Ah, there's that energy again in the shop this time. Who could have seen that coming? Straight up XP boosts too. And apparently I have to pay to battle the Demon Lord. A battle pass system? Not too crazy these days. The amount of shop pop-ups is honestly staggering. All this free stuff and no collect all button. Minor quality of life gripe there. Okay, literally a pop-up every time I close any menu. I feel like I'm browsing the early 2000s internet. Ooh, I leveled up. I worked very hard for that level, I can assure you. Definitely feeling that well-earned sense of pride and accomplishment. This index seems to just be a page showing all the champions. I've got no idea if it has any actual use. I will say though, the models are quite easy on the eyes. They do seem a bit repetitive though. Many of these seem to just be recycled with slightly different outfits for the less rare ones. The legendaries look quite cool though. Very pretty particle effects. Very tempting to spend lots of money to get, summon exactly the one I want. I see they've even got the furry crowd covered. Their body is made up of 87% fire, and 100% fire surrounds them. That could kill me if I tried to. I think I found my favorite champion. I do actually quite like some of these character designs. Alright, so there's a fee for swapping your equipment out unless you want to destroy the old one that you might have already spent materials upgrading. At least the silver currency seems fairly easy to earn in game. Or to be given freely at least. What is this fragment summon with a ton of annoying red dots I'd like to get rid of but can't possibly be bothered to? Some kind of special event currency it seems. I don't have any of these so I'm not going to bother with this for now. Let's try these free summons I've got. The lovely gacha system. First off I've got generic knight named Nicked. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. Very creative name and character design there. And we've also got Feminine Knight, called Preacher for some reason. Not exactly what I remember from Sunday school. Both 1 stars, so probably virtually useless in the grand scheme of things. Clan Boss. Seems like something I'm not at all prepared for, but it's technically unlocked, so how bad could it be? Oh, I need to join a clan first, okay. Ew, social interaction. If I only had to socialize in my games, I'd play a cat girl on a Final Fantasy XIV RP server. At least there's this quick join option, which has apparently just put me into some random clan called Full Metal. Sure, sounds great. Can I do the boss thing now? Oh, so this is what those keys I saw in the shop earlier are for. And I have 2 already, apparently. Awesome. Let's waste one then. I don't even have a full team. There's no way in hell this is going to go well. But the game isn't stopping me, so let's do it. Wow, this looks pretty cool actually. Neat level design. The boss looks pretty sick. And I'm dead. Alright then. That's got to be the fastest wipe since Leroy Jenkins. I think that experience was very worth using one of these seemingly valuable keys for. I don't hate that the game lets me do this. There's nothing wrong with having things that you just aren't ready for yet at lower levels. But it is a bit odd that all these other options are level restricted, and then this is just here, ready to go with no warning of the absolute beating I'm about to sign myself up for. Anyways, let's back right out of that and try something else this time. We'll do the only other thing we can, really, and do some campaign missions. We are just playing the game on literally autopilot, very engaging gameplay. As you can see, my 1 star is getting destroyed despite having type advantage, and these 2 stars, despite not having that, are doing much better, and my 3 star could not be carrying harder. In other words, if you spend enough on the gacha to get the higher tier characters, you're just going to be way better off than trying to play strategically and build your team with budget characters. Final boss of the campaign series. This guy seems to be level 10, whereas my highest champion is only level 4. But the game hasn't told me anything about leveling up or upgrading besides the armor, so I guess this should go fine. And plot twist, it did in fact go very well. Even completely on auto, no thinking required. I don't expect the first boss to be especially challenging or anything, it's not Dark Souls. But should it really be doable without even turning auto off? On the plus side, these little illustrated scenes are nice, the art is cool, and the voice acting is unremarkable.
Had cried out their allegiance to their king, but also to Sephiroth.
Super raids. Why do they need to be super? If everything is super, nothing is. And more keys. I'm seeing a pattern here. Again, I really don't think I'm prepared for this, but I still haven't been told anything about leveling my characters. Oh, interesting. Characters can only raid crypts belonging to their own faction, which means I can only go in here with this one character. Alright, let's just skip this. We all know how this would go. Maybe we're not ready for raiding yet. Let's try dungeons instead. It's even drop fever. Make sure to get your drop vaccine. This looks much more doable though, at least. Oh hey, this looks familiar. And yep, that seems about the same. But hey, at least we leveled up to make our failure slightly easier to digest. Alright, maybe not dungeons then. What's this tavern thing? I like alcohol as much as the next guy.
The main place where you upgrade and improve your champions. You can sacrifice weaker champions to gain
Oh,
XP
so this is how you level your champions. If only I had been informed of that in some way besides, you know, randomly clicking on everything. That would have been quite handy earlier. Alright, let's force feed her beer until she gets fat on XP then, I suppose. You gotta watch those liquid calories, man. Alright, now it's time to get some payback on this dragon. Or not. But another level up, well earned. Oh, and now it tells me about the tavern. Better late than never, I suppose. Let's try this one more time. Not on auto, just to see if it makes a difference. Well, much better, but not quite. Oh, and we leveled again. May as well just expect it after the loss at this point. I like this, though. The boss has actual mechanics to consider, and playing manually and strategically made a significant difference, even though we still lost. Alright, enough dungeoneering. On to the real game. PvP. Player versus player. This, once again, will go amazingly, I'm sure. More auto-battling. I really shouldn't be shocked at this point, but I can't help but be a little disappointed. Not quite what I was hoping for, but at least the barrier for entry is much lower than I anticipated, I suppose. There is a PvP system, which is more than can be said for some mobile games. Though, like everything else in the game, hardly balanced due to the gacha systems and pay to win. $20,000 silver to swap this gear out? I feel like I'm being scammed. 500 gems to unlock the mine, giving you even more gems over time. The rich really do get richer. Alright, so, bit of a time skip here. I've leveled up some more, maxed out my main waifu, in general just done some progression. It's still a very early game. This is certainly not a game you're going to finish in any small amount of time, especially playing free. Apparently there's an event going on, so I guess I should have waited on leveling my champions. We have an ancient shard from some free login or something, so this is the first summon that could actually give us something decent. Let's see how that goes. Well, it's a 3-star at least. That's better than most of my roster. Another support, not sure if I need that, but whatever. Definitely not the legendary you're hoping to get off this slot machine. By the way, what kind of rates are there exactly for this gacha? 0.5% for a legendary, unless you use a sacred shard, then it's 6%. 1.4% just for a rare on the low, cheap summon. The sad thing is, this is certainly not the lowest rates I've seen. How much are these summoning shards anyways? $10 for one, $30 for one void. Wow. That's just a single summon too. I'm not even sure what to say to that. It's not even a 10 pull or anything like that. To put this into perspective, at 0.5% chance and $10 each, you have about a 40% chance of getting a legendary in 100 summons. 100 summons at this price would cost you $1,000, just for the regular ancient shards, mind you. Multiply that price by 3 for the void summons. Now, to be fair, they do have cycling deals on other packs that will get you much better value as far as summons go, which is something I only found out while researching just how insane these prices are. The average new player probably wouldn't even realize that. I suppose you can get them for free from various sources, like the one I just got, but that is, for lack of a better word, predatory. Oh, and more AFK systems. This one for AFK leveling, it seems. Very cool. It says to forge here, but when I click it, it doesn't actually take me to the forge, and I don't know what the forge is. Anyways, I've made it this far, and I'm already feeling burnt out from the grind, and there's really nothing else to do but grind. I'm not sure where, or if it's even possible to farm the brews needed for leveling champions in the tavern. I can't really make significant progress other than by grinding really repetitive battles slowly, or buying items at the shop. I'm stuck with basically my starting lineup. I've been able to get one more 3-star champion you saw from a free summon, but even these 3 stars would 100% be completely trivialized by 4 and 5 stars. Which the rate for summons and the chance of getting them is actually disgustingly terrible and predatory. Not to mention there's a whole subtype of characters that appear to just be superior to the normal 3 types, and accordingly are more expensive, of course. So what are my final thoughts? Should you join apparently more than 78 million people and play Raid Shadow Legends? I cannot in good conscience recommend it. I've hit a wall quite a while before this point, honestly, where I really don't have any desire to keep playing other than for the sake of this video. If you enjoy typical mobile game systems, auto and idle play features, extremely predatory pay-to-win monetization, and, shall I say it, horrible gambling gacha mechanics, then this might be the game for you. It has all of those things in spades, as well as repetitive, largely automated, grindy gameplay. If you want a less pay-to-win mobile game, maybe check out Diablo Immortal. To be fair, the graphics, animations, and characters are quite nice for a mobile game, and the gameplay did show some potential for some interesting turn-based strategy. The few times I bothered to take it off autoplay against mildly interesting bosses anyways. The PC port is also acceptable. I had no major issues, save for the lockout from being able to access settings or anything else during the whole of the tutorial. The voice acting when it's there, which is not all that often, is not bad, and there is some story and lore that, while generic, I could see developing into something interesting. I have no desire to play far enough to find out if it does, but hey, it might. All in all, I feel a little bit dirty even for just promoting this on my Twitch, which you should check out by the way, link in the description, and will not be playing any further. If for some reason you wanted to try it for yourself, or you just want to support me and the channel, you can use my link and promo code in the description, download and play through the tutorial, and it will help me out a ton, and almost make the time I wasted playing this game worth it. Or don't, I really wouldn't blame you. If you enjoyed the video and want to support me without downloading this glorified gambling simulator, you can leave a like on the video and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, hopefully with a slightly better game too.